Joined now by Politico reporter Eli Stokols in Washington and former deputy campaign manager for Governor Martin O'Malley, Liz Smith. Eli, first to you. Does the burden fall on Donald Trump to make this violence stop? And what's the impact if this keeps happening all the way till November?
Well, that's a scary question to answer. I think the burden falls on Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and anyone who's running for president, any elected official leaders everywhere, to encourage people not to resort to violence, no matter how inflamed their political passions may get this season. And I think that's really hard. I think that Donald Trump, these were people who were attacking Donald Trump supporters last night. So it's important that Hillary Clinton, in terms of the optics, does come out and condemn that violence. But there is a lot of responsibility that falls on Donald Trump's shoulders, because he is the candidate who is really stoking these fires, stoking division. I mean, this is the guy who just yesterday told the Wall Street Journal that the judge in the Trump University case can't possibly give him a fair trial because he's Mexican, and because Trump wants to build a wall. Thus, all Mexicans must be not willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, even though he's saying the Hispanics love me half of the time. So Donald Trump's incendiary rhetoric is of a different piece than what we have generally seen from political candidates, from presidential candidates certainly. And he does have a lot of the responsibility on his shoulders, because we're seeing this violence on the outskirts of his rallies. We're not seeing it so much outside Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders rallies. We're seeing this at Trump rallies. I was in San Diego last week, and I saw the exact same scene out in the streets. Some Trump supporters, some protesters, a lot of them Hispanic, waiting around in the streets afterwards. And as much as the police tried to keep them separated, there were some people who were just intent on getting in each other's faces and really forcing altercations, on fighting, on spitting. There were pepper spray incidents, people pepper spraying one another. I mean, it was just really scary to see, and you do have to wonder and fear where this may lead.
And Liz, I see you nodding along with what Eli is saying. You want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Eli. I think the problem here is, and Eli captured it well when he talked about the optics. Sure, it is Democrats or non-Trump supporters attacking Trump supporters, but this is happening outside a Trump rally, and I think it does underscore the fact that he is fanning the flames of violence. And he had an opportunity after the primary ended to become more presidential.
He said he was going to.
Right, and to run a more serious campaign. And if anything, he's gotten more reckless and more racist in his language, and has gone and played more to the fringe elements of his party than he did even at the end of that campaign. And I think that's what's most troubling. And the problem with this violence yesterday, I think, for him, is that it underscores two messages that we heard yesterday. One from Hillary Clinton, saying that he's too reckless to be president. You can't trust him with the nuclear codes. And even more troublingly, from the Republican governor of South Carolina, who said that there's a direct line between the rhetoric and the divisive racist rhetoric that people like Trump use, and incidents like we saw in the Charleston massacre last year.
And so does it surprise you then that Paul Ryan, after waiting for some time to endorse Donald Trump, would do it yesterday in the midst of what we ultimately saw happen? Does it surprise you that he would come out and say, I support? It was sort of a lukewarm op-ed that he posted, but still, the Speaker of the House is saying that he's going to vote for Donald Trump. Yeah,
well, look, he's in a no-win position. I don't think you can be Speaker of the House and not endorse, the leader of your party, Donald Trump. Now,
so it's party over principle, is what you're saying?
I think so. I think a lot of it is that he kind of has to do it. But I think, his timing on it was interesting, because it kind of got buried by Hillary's speech. And I think some people were thinking of it maybe as counter-programming. But ultimately, people ended up focusing more on what Hillary Clinton had to say than what Paul Ryan had to say.
Eli, let me ask you, one of the things after Hillary Clinton's speech, Donald Trump, in comments and reacting to Hillary Clinton's speech, said, because of what she said about me, about Donald Trump, she has to go to jail. And it made me just think to myself, so what you're essentially saying is, if your political opponents disagree with you and they don't think that you're the right person for the job, you need to throw them in jail? Is that your take?
Well, we know that Donald Trump is not a huge fan of the First Amendment, but he may have been talking about sending her to jail over the emails and perhaps a breach of federal law. I'm not exactly sure the context of what he said, but he is, he's shown that when he gets attacked, he resorts to attacking back, to insulting. He didn't answer Hillary Clinton's claim. I mean, yes, she sort of took him apart point by point. She was mocking in a way that wasn't juvenile-like when Marco Rubio mocked Donald Trump on this. She was very workmanlike and said point by point, these are the reasons why Donald Trump as commander-in-chief is dangerous. He didn't respond to that. He had very little to say about why he wouldn't be a danger to the country and to the rest of the world. He just went after her and attacked her and just blasted her speech as pathetic, pathetic, pathetic. He's great at repetition. He's great at branding and branding his opponents. But I think what he will find, if he feels bulletproof because opponents' attacks didn't resonate with a Republican primary audience, he's going to find that with the general election audience and electorate, it's different. And he may not be quite so bulletproof and able to just brush everything off by insulting folks as he's done up to this point.
Right, and that's where you see the limitations of Donald Trump as a presidential candidate.
Yeah, because I just want to share a poll with you. Voters don't believe that Donald Trump has the right temperament to be president of the United States. This is amongst registered voters. Donald Trump, 48%, yes, Hillary Clinton, 48%. Let's put it up there. There you go. 48% believes that she has the right temperament to be president. 49% say no. Donald Trump, 27% say yes.
Right, and I mean, yesterday was a perfect example of why he doesn't have the temperament to be president. I mean, his response to a well-reasoned takedown of why he would be dangerous, why he can't be trusted with nuclear codes, was Hillary Clinton should be in jail, and his response to a lawsuit against him was attacking, a federal judge's ethnicity and saying that he should not be on a case because he's of Mexican descent.
He was born in Indiana.
Right, and right. I mean, it's insane, and it's something we've never seen from a presidential candidate, and it really feeds into this narrative, and he's handing Democrats a gift because he is underscoring the narrative that he doesn't have the temperament to be president, that he's too reckless, and that, he will fan the flames of division in our country.
All right, Eli Stokols and Liz Smith, great discussion. Thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.